Hi everyone, Joao here. So I've been doing this course by Ben Fisher that is on YouTube, and as you can see, I've been doing like the straight line thing, and then some squares, some curves. I also got a bit further, I'll show you in some other videos, with roses. And now I'm on to the part where he talks about different needle sizes, and after that he also talks about like shading with dot work. So today's video is going to be around these different needle sizes and this dot work thing. So I've set my machines. I can show you which are machines I've been using for this course. I've set my machines. This one is with a 7-liner buck pin, this one is with a 3-liner, and this one is with a 14-liner. I'm doing this because I've actually tattooed a few years ago, but I had to drop it because of my main job, which is architecture, and I really hope that this time around I can get back to this and also get more practice and get to tattoo more people. I did go and I did apprenticeship a little bit, and with someone I know that has a private studio, and that's that. I hope you like the videos. I'm doing these videos also because I feel that Ben's videos are great and he's a great teacher, and I share this passion for teaching, so my idea would definitely be to share like this process of learning, which is part of teaching and learning, of course. And I sure hope I inspire more people as Ben has inspired me to get back to tattoo, or has helped me in this path back to tattooing. I sure hope that from my videos you can learn stuff that maybe you cannot learn from Ben's videos, or you can see my progress, just what am I doing. I'll try to also talk and guide you through the things I'm doing. I won't be able to guide you as much as I wish, but also you can see what I'm doing, maybe even comment, hey man, you're doing this wrong, or great, Ben didn't say this about that. One of the things that Ben doesn't talk about, and I've been wanting to make a video about this, and I don't know if this is going to be in the same video as my practice video or not, but it's about tattoo machines, and I will do a short video about that. Because Ben immediately advises you to go and take on to rotaries, and I don't think that's a great idea. That's why, as you can see, I have my coil machines, and there are two main reasons why I like coil machines, and why I think someone apprenticing should be using coil machines rather than rotaries. But I myself never actually tattooed much with rotaries, other than some packing and some shading. But I really like the fact that these machines have their geometry and the way they're built for specific uses. So if you're lining, you will have a liner, and you will have different liners for different line sizes. And also Ben talks a lot about this feel that you get when you're tattooing, and I want to exemplify just a little thing. Like I don't have any ink on, so this will be just basically the sound of the machines running. But I want to show you something that I think it's of major importance when you're tattooing. So as you can see, like I have my needles pre-far, I don't know if you can see it, I hope you can. I have my needles pre-far out because I don't write the tube, I like to over it. But I really enjoy the fact that when you're putting your machine to work, so now you can see like this is actually running at 5 volts. So I tune my machines myself. Also I can make a video on that. But I think that's important that you know how to tune your own machines. And look at this, just hear this. You see, like the machine is making absolute no noise, because this, what I'm simulating here, will be the resistance of the skin. And this is why I think a traditional coil machine is better to work, and at least to learn with, than a rotary. It's because in these machines you actually have this resistance going on. In my opinion, you will cause less trauma, you will have less danger of hurting someone, but you can actually feel. So these machines, we talk about, in many videos people talk about which voltage do you use, why do you use this voltage? once again, it doesn't really matter with coil machines. It's not really about the voltage, or what you have to know about the voltage is not the same as with the rotary. A rotary, the voltage will basically increase the speed of the machine and not really the hardness of the heat, because the hardness of the heat is set by the strength of the motor it's using. Here with the coil machine, you will have the speeds will be given by the geometry. So the speeds and the stroke of a liner is different from the speed and the stroke of a shader, and one liner is different. For instance, this liner is less powerful than this liner. It's more or less powerful like this liner, although this liner is a nice all-rounder. And when you actually see all these geometries and all these speeds, the voltage will be more about the heat. So are you going to go very hard on that skin? Are you not going to go very hard on that skin? And so for me, I have like this relationship with these machines where I kind of feel it better which machine I'm using. So I really hope this gives some light to people that are learning how to tattoo. I would definitely never go and buy eBay machines that are absolutely built with no quality control. They have absolutely nothing in mind other than just selling you a cheap machine. These are all professional machines that I have here. These are both from Portuguese brands, and this is from a Swiss brand. Okay, so let's get to it. What I'm going to start doing first here, so I'm going to go around some of these squares, and I'm going to use my 14 liner to enlarge these lines, and then I'm going to also use another method with a 7 liner, which is like I'm going to try and build up some lines. So this is going to be like the first part of the video, and then on the second part I will use my 3 liner to really go onto these 8 and star shapes that Ben talks in his video. So I'm not wanting to replace Ben's videos at all. I want to show you my progress and my work on these drills, which I find very interesting. Because you need to develop muscle memory, as in everything, and these are really useful ways of doing it. I'm also doing this flat. Maybe in another video I'll try and show you. You can put this around some bottles to simulate what an arm forearm should look like. The feeling. Yeah, let's go to this. And as you can hear, like my machine changes noise when it has the ink in. This is pretty normal because it's also a nice thing it's to use your ear when you're tattooing, because like this you can definitely hear these noise changes, so you can hear yourself running out of ink. So as in a normal tattoo, I would definitely always go from the bottom right to the up left, so I don't smudge my stencil. So I'm going to approach this as having a stencil and as having a tattoo. So the idea here is to stretch, even though this is artificial skin, this is real skin. My idea would also to be like practicing what it should feel in a real world. So I really enjoy having these motions like this, because these motions allow me to be quite precise. Ben talks about these motions. I myself have not found a way of doing this yet that are the most comfortable, even though sometimes I get the feeling of it. I'd rather, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this well on camera, because now I'm casting shadow, but I'd rather actually do this. I'm always watching the thing. I can set my depth with my finger position and really just like go in, lock it, do it, and go out. So I'm not sure whether this is best or not. Again, I've learned how to tattoo 4 years ago maybe. I was tattooing and I was already getting the feeling of it. So I think at some point you just get the feeling of what's comfortable for you. Ben says this a lot, and I totally agree with him. So try different geometries, different positions. Always try to move your whole hand, your whole arm, and not just your wrist, because then you're like making movements, and you should be always at the same distance from the skin. So let's do this. And as you can see, my line was not gone into the end, so I can do what Ben talked about, which is like over and in. And in these drills about different needle, it talks about the fact that you have to have more pressure or less pressure, adapt your hand speed. And here I'm definitely feeling that my machine has a way more, like there has more resistance in the skin compared to when I was tattooing with a 7-liner or a 5-liner. Also, the reason why I don't ride the tube, I want to see where I'm going. And again, with the machine like this, since you will have the bogger, so you will have the resistance, and that allows you to not go too deep in the skin, for instance, which is like a sort of safety net. And the second reason, it's because imagine that you're doing trauma to the skin, and imagine that not only you're doing trauma with a needle, but you're also like doing trauma by dragging a tube around that. And for me, I don't think that's a really good idea. I know a lot of good tattoo artists still do it, but honestly, I started tattooing riding the tube, and now that I hover it, I think it's way more comfortable. I can see where I'm going. I can hear my machine bogging, and I'm really happy with it. You see, I'm constantly like changing my hand position as Ben says, because this is the way you should do it. You're not going to move your client. You're definitely going to move your hands and your machine. So as you can see, now I have like a little square, and I'm gonna do a few more. So I'm using some hustle butter, which is some sort of tattooing Vaseline. I like it. I've used it to tattoo. I've used it on my own tattoos to heal them, and I really liked it. It's quite greasy. It allows you for having like a nice glide. Also, it avoids the splatter. It keeps the skin moist. And here you can see that I did something was like to profit from my hand position to do 2 lines in a row. So when you're tattooing someone, you really want to try and find the best way to be a bit faster, because like imagine for the person it's not so good that the person is there sitting like for this many hours. I've been tattooed for 4 hours in a row, and at some point it's not even the pain, it's really just it's uncomfortable. So if you can find ways of being faster. I'm not talking about shortcuts, I'm really talking about ways of working faster, then do it. Also in these mats, I'm going way deeper than what I would go in a normal skin. Way, way deeper. You'd never go this deep in normal skin, like you'd cause massive trauma. Your lines would just explode. The reason is that these mats actually don't take the ink at the depth as a usual skin takes. So you'd have to go further, otherwise your ink will be shallow like this one. And yes, that's basically that. And I believe that I even think that this machine is running way too strong. There's a bunch of videos where people say, yeah, I have my machines running at 7 or whatever. Like honestly, a good machine like this one, if it's well tuned, to probably run like 4.8. It would even run like way lower. Like, okay, so this machine is running at 3.6. See, it's still running. It's still pushing a needle. Now it won't be good for tattooing, as you can hear it. But here I really like the noise. I really like how it sounds. And this is something that, you see, you don't really learn this from a lot of videos on the internet. And I think an apprenticeship would allow you to learn this kind of stuff, even in more detail how coils work and all of that. But really, just listen to your machine. That's again why I prefer using coils, because I love music and, and I love hearing stuff, and for me it's really clear when you're just listening to these machines whether they're working well or not. And here I'm getting the resistance of the skin, and you can hear my machine bogging. And it's allowing me to keep the depth quite constant. And as you can see, like in here, the lines are a bit more rough on the skin rather than here. And this again is obviously because I put my machine a bit down, so it has less strength, so it's causing less trauma. And this is something that you should pay attention when you go out of these mats and you're tattooing someone. Don't put your machine like running like hell, you know, 7, 8, whatever, and just because you will just like rip through the skin, you will cause scar tissue. Your tattoo won't be smooth. Like I have a lot of scar tissue in this tattoo. This was done by an apprentice. I mean, this guy is a beast right now, and he was learning, and this for an apprentice tattoo is already really good, but this has a lot of scar tissue. I have tattoos in my legs that I did on myself. They have a lot of scar tissue because I was just learning, and I didn't have this. I didn't have a lot of people telling me, hey, your machine is running too fast. So really, and what I mean about fast in this case is actually strong. My machine was running in a too high of a voltage and just causing massive trauma. And here I'm gonna try and do this, as I was telling you before. I don't know if you can see this but I really feel that this is way more comfortable. Because it has like the same inward motion that has on this direction, it has on this direction. So if you're tattooing someone, you actually can move yourself, and always have. I actually find the most comfortable position for tattooing is always this one. And the reason being is that your elbow will get free from your body. So when you're doing this motion, you're actually opening your elbow out. And this again is something I think it's a very important tip. A lot of people go like, so how do you tattoo? How do you hold your machine? How do you feel? Like, I really just like to use my fingers to sort of have this depth control, having this steady position. Like maybe this two will land here. This third will sort of control where I'm going. So now I have 3 fingers which are laid down, and then this is going to be like a nice motion of my elbow going out. And obviously here we're working in so small lines that you almost have to do absolute no movement with your elbow. But imagine you're tattooing someone and you want to do a line from here to here, you probably will be able to do it. You just have to really go, and you know, like just for the stretch you will have to go and sort of use your elbow, and well, I think you get the picture. just love the noise. How it's so perfect. You can understand that the resistance is good, that you're not going too deep. And also these machines run quite fast. They are professional tattoo machines. So my hand could be going faster, and like this I would be causing less trauma. But since I'm still not super comfortable going this fast, but as you can see, like I went faster from this one, and here you have way less trauma than you have here, which is slower, and the ink is all there. So bear in mind, if you're using coils, the speed of your hand is related to the speed of the machine. So maybe if you're start with a less fast machine. This is a way less fast machine than this one, even though they seem quite similar geometry, but this is way less fast. And this is like super fast machine. This is from Mau and Cathy. This is traditional liners, so people will be pushing like a lot of 14 liners and quite fast. With this, it's a strong one as well. And also, of course, you can do this. What went wrong here, for instance, was that my fingernail was stuck here. So in a real skin, this will never happen. Your fingernail, even if you use your finger to write, this won't happen, because of course you won't have like this damaged skin like here. But in these skins, you always open like big scars. So my fingernail was stuck there. That's why I kind of heard a noise. That's not so good, of course, but bear in mind, don't stress. This is why you should practice before you go to real people, because you'll run into these problems, you will run into these situations, you will be able to think about them, and you won't be stressing all the time. When you're tattooing someone, you won't be hurting someone. It's super important. Like, don't go tattoo your friends just because it's funny and you think you're super good and all of that. Learn to tattoo first. You have this, of course. If you're not vegan, you can also use pig skin, which is quite good. I sometimes use it. I like this because they're more hygienic. But sometimes I also practice on pig. I also practice on oranges. I will make videos on all of those things. I think it's important because you get different feels and you get different information. Oranges, for instance, what they allow you is to really see if you're going in the good direction, because then you will see that the skin is not, the ink is not being deposited in the direction of the line, as Ben explains on his first videos where you do the line drills. And get used to stretch, get used to practice this stretching, because you will be stretching the skin on people. And the more you get used to it, the better, because you won't forget it. When you're tattooing someone, then you won't forget it. And that's pretty important, that you never forget it. Otherwise your line won't go in. Ben explains also why not. Again, I don't want to replace Ben's video, they're great. I just want to show you a bit of mine and share with you a bit of my learning and share my thoughts with you. Always see where you're going, see your needle, see your line, see your point A and your point B, see it. You have to be able to see where you're going. Yeah, I really can't get used to this. Immediately I feel shaky. And I'm not able to keep my depth. And I see a lot of tattooists working like this, but I really don't feel it's comfortable because I'm sort of losing all my weight that I'm putting into my tattoo, my body weight. Whereas if I'm here, like for me, this is super natural. My depth is perfect. I can see myself going in, I can see myself going out, I can see my needle all the way, whereas if I'm there, like I'm always also like not really seeing my needle.